Hi guys, Zach here in another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Arena Valley Extreme. I'm starting in the top middle position playing as the Soviets. And what you've noticed is I moved my MCV straight away. And that's because there's 6 players in this game, and that means there's probably going to be 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. And what I figure is that I'm going to be in the middle of 2 players in each corner. And I've decided rather than be like that, I'm just going to move down a bit and it might buy me a bit of time. Now, I have delayed my start, so it might backfire on me, but I think if I'm down here, if there's any infantry rushes, I could like get infantry rushes from both sides and I stay up there. So I've decided to make the decision to move down here and hopefully give me a better chance. We'll see if that works or not. As I say, it's a risk either way. It's a risk to stay where I am, because I'm in between 2 players who are going to attack me early on, or I can move down and hopefully buy myself a little bit of time. It's still not an ideal position, but we'll see how it goes. If I don't get attacked early, it does put me in a good position for ore, because I've got an ore patch just below my base, I've got an ore patch above, and I've got an ore patch just to the left of that position. So it could give me a good start, and I'm just going to build my war factory first of all. It's also going to allow me to make my base a little bit more compact than I usually would, which is a bit easier to defend and see what's going on around. I'm going for the double war factory start and just using those scouts. You can see there's green to the left of me, so that's Rambo. And yeah, I'm just getting some scouts out. They've probably figured where I am at the moment, because as soon as they go across, they'll see that I'm not there. I am building some ore trucks straight away, just to build up my economy. And I'm also going to expand the patch just above me. But before I do that, I'm going to build a service depot, and that's so I can build multiple MCVs, and that increases the structure building speed. And that's one of the things you sometimes get to do in like these free-for-all matches, because people are less aggressive, because they know if they attack someone they could get attacked themselves. It does give people the opportunity to build multiple MCVs. And sort of in the position I'm in, it's probably a good idea, because I've got players either side, so I'm going to need to be able to build faster and build up and take that risk. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm also building my ore refinery now, so I can expand to the ore patch just above me. And you can see green just putting the infantry forward there, just trying to get a bit of visibility on what I'm doing. And now I'm going for my 3rd war factory, and we've got the MCV out. And once we deploy the MCVs, it gives us the advantage of having a faster building speed for structures. So yeah, when you've got at least 3, you'll see like a substantial, well, just having 2, like half the time it takes to build things. So having 3 is even better. And as I get more MCVs, my speed is just going to increase further and further. And what I'm doing as well is I'm just building some Tesla, and now you can see it's yellow, it's robot to the right of me. And what they can see now, those other players, is they can see I've got Tesla inside my base. And sometimes when you see players have Tesla, it is sort of a deterrent, because you don't want to run your tanks in for a big scale attack, because Tesla just does so much damage, especially if it's being defended with tanks. So that's hopefully going to buy me a little bit more time, and I'm just building my economy and going to be producing tanks, because I've got 3 war factories, so that's going to give me quite a good building speed. You can see though I'm having to build some more trucks at the moment just to maintain this speed, because multiple MCVs allow you to build structures really quickly. But that also means that the ore is going to be used up really quickly as well. Because obviously if you build things quicker, then it's going to cost more in terms of ore, which is why I'm sort of having to make sure I get more ore trucks, just so I can build this really strong economy. And while I'm building these extra ore trucks, I'm just laying down more Tesla, because the more Tesla the better at this stage. I need to have a really good bank, because I've got players either side of me. I've got one to the top right, I've got one to the top left, so makes it really hard. And yeah, I'm just building like a bit of a fortress here, and the longer this goes on, the better it is for me now that I've got more construction yards. Also, what's going to happen as well is I'm using the ore reserves at the bottom of my base, and it gives the top 2 players in the top left and the top right less room to expand. because usually what would happen is they'd use their initial ore patches and they'll expand to these ore patches later. I'm also going to get a radar dome because I don't know which direction I'm going to get attacked from.
Cannot deploy here.
So it'll just give me a bit more visibility, although my base is very compact, and that's going to make it easier to defend with Tesla and things like that. I'm also expanding further downwards so I can get to the ore patches in the middle, and that's just going to improve my economy even further and put me in a very strong position. And at the moment I'm just waiting for this inevitable attack, but as the longer they give me the better, really. It just means I can build up more, build more Tesla, have more tanks ready. The question is, though, if I get attacked from one side, am I going to have enough left to defend from the other? And also, if I get attacked from one side, is my Tesla going to be enough of a deterrent to stop the other player from attacking me at the other side of my base? And that's the question, because I don't want to go out now and attack one player and then get attacked from the other side, which is why I'm being quite passive. The thing is, though, from the position I'm in at the moment, I do have access to loads of ore, so it's not like I have to attack to expand to other ore patches. I'm doing that expansion myself right here. And also, there'll be, like, you can see the orange have been taken out on the bottom of the map. So now the orange are out, the bottom left and the bottom right teams, they could potentially attack the other teams in the other corners, because once they've taken out the middle player, so this could play into my hands really well. If the other teams do decide to do that. And you can see we're building some more war factories and you can see that war factory being attacked by yellow. So yellow's expanded quite close to my base now, and this is going to be the first battle. Let's see how we can do against this. You can see yellow with some missile V2 rocket launchers that do decent damage, but they're very fragile and they will be easily destroyed by tanks. What V2 rockets do well against is Tesla, but not very well in these tank battles. And let's see how this goes. You can see those yellow tanks. There's like decent numbers, but I think I've got the better numbers so far. I've also got some Tesla that I'm bringing forwards, and it's just helping me that little bit because those Tesla do great damage in the background. And you can see us being able to push further to the right. We're going to destroy some of those ore trucks as well, which is going to help us even more because it's going to mean that he's not going to be able to replace those tanks. And we have to think that yellow's been limited so far to those two ore patches, so they don't have a great economy going, and I just have to be careful here. Oh, that was a bit stupid actually thinking of it. I placed that without thinking. I don't want to aggravate green yet. At least he seems to be staying in his base so far, but now we need to push up against yellow, and we can see this is going very well for ourselves. We're able to destroy most of his buildings, and he's selling up his ore refinery, selling up some of those war factories, and we're just pushing up further to his base, see if he's got anything there, and we'll have to see if we can get his construction yard. A few power plants there. We can see some Tesla there as well, so he's obviously been building. But we can see now yellow in the bottom of the map, so I don't know if he's just built that or if he's like sort of taken one of my buildings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold some of these back and destroy some of the remaining yellow buildings in the top right hand side. But you can see there's a bit of a fight going on now in that middle of the map. Yellow's got the attack on me. He's managed to destroy some buildings. I can't see a construction yard around this area, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to push down against those other power plants. But now you can see that Cyan is going on the attack in the middle, and yellow's in a difficult position now because he's right in the middle of the map, so Cyan's going to be able to take out those buildings, so not working out too well for him there. And that's always the danger, like if you're in the middle. But now the green are coming from the left hand side, and you can see he's got a mix of V2 rocket launchers and also heavy tanks, so I'm going to need to deal with this now while Cyan deals with yellow in the middle of the map. And I need to really deal with this as quickly as possible because I need to get back, because I'm going to have to defend against Cyan, who I think is turning his attention to myself. But I'm going to defend against green first because that's the main part of my base, and if he starts taking out those construction yards, it's going to put me in a difficult position. But now I'm going to need to push down. You can see that Cyan is pushing up the map, and it's green's pulling back a little bit. So while he does that, I'm going to try and take care of these heavy tanks. I think he's got about similar numbers. I think I've got more numbers overall because you can see these reinforcements coming in. I've also got Tesla helping me in the background, and that's doing a lot of damage to those Cyan heavy tanks. And it looks like we're going to be able to survive this, thankfully. And you can see those Cyan tanks now pulling back to the base. So that's one of the bottom teams. I'm also going to take out that yellow ore refinery. But now we can see green looking a bit aggressive again. So I'm going to need to bring these tanks to the top again. And he's just destroyed one of those ore refinery, well, some of the ore trucks. But I'm going to need to defend against this, just taking out that last tank from Cyan while most of my tanks move up. And now we'll go for the defence again. We've got some Teslas firing from in the back of my base. And we do have some V2 rocket launchers there, though, from green. And his army's not too big, so I'm not too worried. I will be able to defend against this. Unfortunately, though, I do lose a war factory. And so that's going to slow my building speed a bit. I also need to get my economy back on track. I mean, I'm doing okay at the moment. That's because I've got tanks in, ore trucks in the middle. But I need to be careful I don't lose them because Cyan has been aggressive a bit earlier on. And there you can see that green is now pulling back to his base. And we might just make sure he's pushed back all the way. So we'll do a bit of damage to green's base now. You can see he's also tried to expand to that ore patch with the arm on. He's got some Tesla there, so we're going to need to take out those and some of those remaining tanks. He's also got a radar dome there, so we'll take that out. And yeah, I've got a load of Tesla now, just defending that middle. So let's see if I can push through here. We're going to take out that war factory. And we've done quite a bit of damage, but unfortunately we're going to have to go back to our base. We're not going to have time to take out the whole of green's base. We'll try and take out a little bit, just like push him up a little bit, but I'm going to need to defend against Cyan. So I'll bring my tanks down right now. And this is going to really, because it's going to really hurt my economy if I'm not mining.
Unit ready.
And we can see those Cyan tanks just waiting there a little bit lower. And I've sort of sent, what I've done is I sent my ore trucks just to a more deserted patch. I'm also going to have to make sure I defend against green at the same time, but that Cyan army is looking dangerous. And if they decide to dive in, it could be bad news for me. But we can see yellow here, because green's trying to move up to yellow's side of the map, so they might have a bit of a skirmish together. And that's going to give us some time to fight with Cyan. So now Cyan coming in with those heavy tanks. I'm going to have to take a bit, it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get grouped up and be able to fight well here. But we do have some like a bit of a group of tanks, but we need to fight this so we don't lose our ore trucks. And we've got some Tesla firing in the background, so that's going to really help us here. And just placing another Tesla down. And now you can see the tank numbers starting to even up. I have possibly lost a ore truck or two, but it's starting to look good, and we're starting to be able to clear those Cyan tanks up. And I don't think those Cyan tanks are going to last too much longer before they're wiped out. The question is how big is Cyan's base, because he's been in the bottom left. He's had quite a bit of time to build up, and you can see there he's got some Tesla as well to help defend. But we have taken out his tank mass, so we might be able to take out those Tesla relatively easily. Because Tesla, although they do loads of damage, they do have very low HP. And now we're going to try and push into Cyan's base. We can see he's got an extra construction yard there, so we'll take that out. And we'll just try and take out the Tesla as soon as it pops up. We can see he's got quite a decent economy going though in the middle of the map. And we do want to hold that. You can see so many ore trucks going across. And what we'll try and do is we'll try and take some of those out. Just so we can limit his economic development, and then he won't be able to replace all those tanks he's losing. So we'll have a bit of a look at this ore patch. I think that's going to be 2 ore trucks that are going to be down quite quickly. We just have to make sure they don't get back, and just doing a little bit more. Yeah, just a bit of a look around. Now you can see another 2 ore trucks coming in, so that's going to be, those 2 ore trucks are going to go down, so that's 4 ore trucks destroyed in total. So we have done quite a number on his economy, because that is quite significant. And yeah, you can see a fifth one there. Well, a 5th one was there, but unfortunately he's decided now that he's going to take those ore trucks back to his base. But we'll be able to still get it in this position here. So that's another ore truck down. So I think this is 6 ore trucks now. And now we're going to try and go for a 7th ore truck, but you can see it's heading back into his base. And now he's trying to take out, I think we're going to get that 7th ore truck. Possibly, but actually we're going to push into his base because he's got some tanks there now, and we're going to need to take out that Tesla that's firing. And if we can get out these ore refineries after we've destroyed these tanks, that'll be a big bonus to us. It'll mean his ore trucks have to travel further, and if he's got a lot of ore trucks, then they might get jammed if they're all going to the same ore refinery. So we're just going to take out that ore refinery just so that ore truck couldn't get there, and you can see that ore truck now going further to the left of his base. But you can see he's got a few ore trucks left, but it looks like we're going to be able to take out the main parts of Cyan's base. We don't have anyone to worry about at the moment, and we're going to be able to break through this Tesla. And you can see my tank numbers are running quite low, but I still have the upper hand. And I don't think there's any way that Cyan can come back from this. We're going to take out those extra construction yards, which are now destroyed. And it looks like that is going to be good game for Cyan. Yeah, and he's called it now, he knows it. There's no way he can come back from this. He doesn't have a construction yard, he has a war factory and ore refinery, but they're going to be taken out quite soon. And just destroying those last buildings of Cyan. And the question is now, has Green been able to build back up? And what about Red? Because Red has had the whole game to build. I haven't seen any of Red so far, so I don't know whether he's been attacking other players, but he could have built quite a big army by this point. What I do know, however, though, is he hasn't expanded to the middle, so his ore collection will have been quite limited. And what I've noticed now is I've stacked up loads of ore, and I think what happened is earlier on I had a lot of war factories, but a lot of those war factories were destroyed, so I only had about 2 left, and I think that I've been sort of like producing just on 2 war factories and haven't been building any more. So I'm going to build a few more war factories now, and that should get my tank numbers up, because I have to be aware, does Red have a big army defending his base, or does he have a big army that's about to attack? That is the question. I can see that Green has expanded to the top right now, but I don't think Green has that much left, because from what I could see from his base, it was quite bare. I think he was having a bit of a fight with Yellow earlier, so now we're going to go for the attack on Red. We can already see that ore patch is quite full, so I don't think he's been mining as much as he could have been. We've also got another war factory out, which is going to increase our building speed even more. And there we can see our first Red ore trucks. Just taking out a couple of those ore trucks. But it does look almost untouched, that ore patch. So yeah, he has another ore truck there and another one there. So we've been able to take out about 4 ore trucks. What I haven't seen at the moment is any tanks, and that looks like it's going to be a 5th war truck. A 5th ore truck going down, and now we're pushing into his base. We can see a mixture of medium and light tanks. The question is, did he have satellite? Because he's allies, so if he did, he could have had vision of the whole map. And now we're trying to push in. You can see he's got some rocket troopers, which do an annoying amount of damage against tanks when they're in numbers like that, and in awkward positions in order to squash them. So I'm going to try and squash as much as I can, because you can see that heavy tank army is getting whittled down. But I'm not too worried about an attack from Red. Doesn't look like he has like a great deal, but I'm going to just need to pull back a little bit. I could always do a base crawl into his base as well, and just get some flame towers in there, because they can do a real good job against infantry. And just expanding out to the right. Because I think it's like the best way to do this, because I was just losing so many heavy tanks. Yeah, and I'm just rebuilding tanks in the meantime. But you can see now my ore reserves, they are quite low because... Oh, and you can see that Red is actually going on the attack, so we need to defend against this. He's taken us a bit by surprise. I did think he was going to hold back. Click there. Don't want to build an airfield. I want to build some Tesla. You can see this big army coming over, but now that his army's spread out, those rocket troopers travel a bit slower, so we can destroy a few of those tanks before they get to my base. So we'll just try and destroy as much as possible. You can see those rocket troopers firing in the background, but those tank numbers are falling pretty quickly. And once those tank numbers fall, that means we can start focusing on squashing those rocket infantry, and we can see a lot of them squashed now. And I've got just too big an army, and there's no way Red is going to be able to come back from this. We're just going to destroy those remaining tanks, and then we're going to go for the rest of his base. So yeah, that is Red basically out of the game. And we'll see if he's got any buildings left. You can see I'm completely out of ore right now.
Building.
And we can see there's a couple of ore refineries there. I think though Red had lost his construction yard early on, so he hadn't been able to expand as well as he would have liked. And I think that's probably why, because he did say something early on like lol. So I think Orange, probably when he destroyed Orange maybe managed to get a base dive on him and destroy that construction yard possibly. I think that's what will probably have happened. And you can see there's a couple of war factories there, another ore refinery, and we're just going to destroy those last remaining buildings. And we've also got green now to take out, but I don't think green is going to be too much of an issue. And that is red officially out of the game. And we can see a few green tanks, but nowhere near enough to provide any sort of defence against the army which I currently have. So quite an interesting game really, and started in the middle, and when you start in the middle of two players like I did there, it's always going to be very difficult, so I decided to expand to the middle of the map. And sometimes you can get attacked early on and it doesn't pay off, and sometimes I've done it before and there's been like another person there who's done exactly the same thing, so it doesn't always pay off, but this time it did. And I managed to buy myself a little bit of time before the other teams attacked, and that allowed me to get a really good, well-defended base with Tesla, which really helped because there was points in that game where I needed to like swap to the either side because I was getting attacked from different angles, but I managed to hold on. I did have a good economy because I was sort of like in the middle of lots of ore patches, so I had lots of alternatives that I could go to. So when the top was being destroyed, I had ore trucks working at the bottom, and also to the left and right of the base, so it worked quite well for me in the end. And we can see there's some Tanyas from... yeah, we're going to have to see if these Tesla, hopefully he hasn't taken... Yeah, they've still got power, so those Tanyas being taken out. So a nice try from Green there. And if he'd had managed... If I'd sort of had, like, low power, then they could have done quite a bit more damage. But yeah, my base was just well defended. There's not many ways you're going to get into that base without running into Tesla. So it's like a Tanya's nightmare, that base. And now just taking out the last buildings in the top left. We can see it doesn't have too much left there. Those ore trucks have stopped moving, which means I think means he doesn't have any ore refineries left. And you can see that yeah, green is selling off. And that is officially good game, mission accomplished. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.